I've seen things you people wouldn't believe.
Wie geht es nochmal? All right. Welcome back, everyone, to another... No, it's not a special episode. Welcome to another regular episode of the Best Thing We've Seen podcast, episode 82. My name is Flo.
And I'm still Gabe. Welcome back. I mean, for you, nothing has changed much. I mean, except for the one episode we left out.
Yeah. No, people are craving these episodes.
I'm sure they do. Those 20 people are just
they've been
refreshing the page constantly.
What do you mean 20 people? What do you mean 20 people?
How many viewers do we have? Like, listeners, sorry.
Let's say more than 20.
I mean, it's more than I expected.
Yeah.
How you been? How was your absence?
How was my vacation with you?
Yeah, how was it? Were the beautiful boys there?
Yeah. Yeah, sure. You make it sound like I... Okay, whatever. Yeah, no, it was good. It was good. We've been on a vacation with a big group of friends, as we said, so we didn't manage to record an episode last week. But no, it was fun. It was fun out in the depths of Styria.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you think?
That's kind of horrible, doesn't it?
That's what
down
it was.
in the depths of Styria. You know? That was beautiful.
Well, no signal and everything, you know?
Yeah, that was really cool. Like having no phone signal at all kind of made you free of all the things you would normally do, like look at your phone constantly. But then a friend brought the Wi-Fi, so...
Yeah, I was going to say, I wouldn't call it cool. I was glad he did that.
Really? I mean, I thought it was all right.
Yeah. No,
I kind of enjoyed being not on my phone constantly. Plus, you know, it was quite beautiful outside. We had a beautiful starry night where we stood around and took our phones out and made pictures.
Enjoying the nature.
It was cool, you know. And we had a tisch tennis table, we had darts, we had...
Wow.
I don't know.
A tisch tennis table?
What did I... I'm so sorry. What's it called?
Well, table tennis.
Yeah.
A pong table? I don't know.
It's been so long since I talked in English.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so weird to be finally back recording because when I sat down to make my list, I felt like, Jesus Christ, I haven't done this for ages. But it's only been like 2 weeks.
Yeah. You made a list as well.
I made a list? Well, on the list, I wrote some notes down, you know.
How was your... Like, we had like 2 weeks of watching things. Obviously, we watched a couple of things together. How many things do you have this week?
I have 4 things.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
Yeah. But like 2 small ones, 2 bigger ones.
Yeah. Yeah, I have 3 things.
Ooh.
One thing, I just talked about it with you. We saw another thing together that's not out for another 2 months. We saw that in the sneak preview too. But yeah, so I mean, I guess we have a lot of things to discuss. But yeah, I mean, no, do anything else we need to... The vacation was good. I'm looking forward to the next one. And yeah, thanks for still tuning in if you're listening to this. I mean, hopefully, I imagine you re-listen to all the 80 other episodes because of our absence. So just that you have something to listen to. But now
that's a healthy response.
Right. Yeah. We're providing you with a new one.
You better not have cheated on us with a different film podcast.
No,
because
they wouldn't.
That would break our tiny little hearts.
They wouldn't dare.
They wouldn't dare.
So,
okay.
Please tell everyone how the show works in case they forgot. In case we forgot, maybe.
Well, welcome back to another regular episode where we talk about the best thing that we've seen all week, or I guess a longer period of time now since we've missed the last week. But I didn't see anything in that time, did you?
Yes. What do you mean?
You did?
Well, yes.
Pretty much all I saw was in the last like 4 or 5 days.
No, I saw something right after we recorded the last episode. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I missed one sneak. That's right.
You did?
Yeah.
All over the place. I love it. I don't think you missed a sneak, you know?
I missed a sneak, but you didn't go either. You said then you watched somewhere else.
I watched the same movie somewhere else. Yes.
Anyway, this is getting confusing. Welcome back to a regular episode. We talk about the best thing that we've seen all week. Anything from a movie to a TV show to maybe even a YouTube video. And it's something fairly new, something that came out in the last 6 months or so. And yeah, we're going to count down some honorable mentions before we get to the best thing that we've seen all week. And as always, I have no idea who is going to start this week's episode, since It's been such a long time.
We make it out like it's been months.
It feels like it.
Well, you started the last one.
Did I?
Medieval Marvels, yes. So,
Alrighty.
which was a stacked episode, by the way.
It was. Great
Yeah,
episode.
great
I
episode.
hope.
Well, great just in terms of the things we discussed.
Definitely.
Yeah. And this was a pretty good episode, too. I got 3 interesting things. And 3 things that I actually quite enjoyed. So, I'm starting us off, right?
I'm sorry. Sorry, you're starting us off.
Yeah, I'm starting us.
Sorry.
So, I think
Go ahead.
I know your pick. I think you might guess my pick, but we can definitely now talk about the thing that you haven't seen, which is Reminiscence,
Yes.
which is a film that I've been really looking forward to. I think I've talked about this before I saw this as well. I talked about wanting to watch this, and yeah, now I did. And it's Hugh Jackman and Rebecca Ferguson, the Greatest Showman team, linking back up again. So,
I forgot that Rebecca Ferguson was even in that.
of course, yeah, Jenny Lind. What was her name? The Nightingale Lind or something, right?
I only remember Zendaya. That's it.
You do?
I thought, what are you doing there?
What would you
You're
mean?
such a good actress.
How dare you?
No, she was fine.
How dare you?
I just didn't like the movie. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. But Reminiscence, I mean, over the last couple of weeks, I tried to like think of films that this one reminded me of. And I had a chat with a friend a couple of days ago, and he said, just from the premise, it kind of reminds him of Inception, which is a good shout. Because
Okay.
I don't know if you know what it is about. Reminiscence?
I had no idea.
No
Only
idea.
saw the poster and some screenshots on
You're not-
IMDb.
You're not gonna.
That's it.
You're not looking forward to this one.
I thought it kind of looked interesting, but I wasn't burning to see it. And then I talked to you because, like I said, I missed the week where it came out because I was on a different vacation.
Yeah.
And you said it was fine, and I wasn't burning to go out and see it. I'm very fucking broke right now. I recently saw, so I felt like this is not a movie that I have to see. So
Yeah.
why not save a little bit of money?
Dude, fair. But I mean, so I'll stay vague because I think you'll end up watching it eventually. But basically, what the trailer gives away, what this movie's about, it's about Hugh Jackman and Thandie Newton. They run some sort of establishment where people can go to relive their dreams, or no, sorry, to relive their favorite memories. They tell them about their favorite
Okay.
memories, and then they sort of they get into a tank, and Hugh Jackman's voice sort of guides them into their sort of dreamlike state. But there's a huge like platform in the middle of the room that sort of projects what that person is dreaming about. So you see what their favorite moments are, and you see the moments that they relive.
Okay. Sounds
And-
kind of invasive.
No, but they sign up for that, you know? They sign up
Sure.
for it, yeah. Sounds kind of invasive, yeah. Right, so you in the beginning of the film, you see like a couple, and it's all in some sort of like dystopian, futuristic setting. I think it is
Course,
set
yeah.
in Miami, and it is like all like flooded everywhere, and I don't quite remember the date it's set, but very dystopian and somewhat apocalyptic future maybe, but yeah, so interesting setting. And people are coming in and you get to see their favorite moments, but then one day, I mean, who would have thought Rebecca Ferguson, in my opinion, one of the most beautiful people on this planet, walks into the room, and Hugh Jackman is just like me. He just falls in love with her instantly. So and she asks him like where she lost her keys, because he is able to sort of guide her through the memory, and she's able to find the keys through that machine that Hugh Jackman has. Does that make sense?
Sure. Sounds expensive.
Yeah, it does. But
Must be some important keys.
yeah. No, I don't think it's. I don't know how much you have to pay to get that, but whatever. I digress. But anyway, they fall in love, and then one day Rebecca Ferguson is gone. Right? They have this
Ooh,
relationship, and she's gone, and now Hugh Jackman is trying to find the love of his life. And I'm not going to say much more than that, but he's obviously using his own memories to find her again. So right, like he goes into the machine and trying to find clues why she would disappear. So it's an interesting premise. It's an interesting sci-fi element they play with. I mean, it's not new. I mean, as I said, I keep trying to compare it to other films. What would you, does it ring a bell like to any other thing to you?
The concept kind of reminds me of a Total Recall.
I mean, yes, sure.
Yeah, you know what I mean? With like the vacation Arnold Schwarzenegger takes at the beginning, and you see his, not memories, but his imagination taking him somewhere.
Yeah. No, that's a fair shout. But I actually think you can compare it to a couple of films, but then again, it also is kind of original. And it is, I don't know how big the budget was. It's directed and I think written and directed by Lisa Joy, who, if I am right, is a creator of Westworld.
Oh.
So that's why also Thandie Newton is in this. And also another actress that's prominent in Westworld. I'm looking this up now because I don't want to misspeak. She's a producer of Westworld. So I'm sure she maybe... she has directed one episode of Westworld. Yeah. No, but
one of the co-creators.
No, she's one of the co-creators, yes.
Okay.
And now, obviously, her first feature film, Reminiscence. And it's fine. It looks great. That's what I was thinking. Why I was mentioning the budget. I don't quite remember, but it is kind of like an original sci-fi film that looks really, really good. Has an interesting premise and actually takes some turns that I found were quite smart. Now, I'm not going to say that it's like better than like Inception or Prestige or whatever, like the kind of movies that it reminded me of. But I certainly think it's better than the rating suggests. It's got like a 5.9 on IMDb. That's a bit harsh.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta say the poster kind of reminds me of a crossover from, I don't know, The Illusionist and Blade Runner. You know what I mean?
Sure. No, but it evokes a couple of other films, and once again, I'm struggling to sort of compare it to one specifically because it's got elements of many of them. But yeah, sure. I mean, those are fair shouts. Definitely Blade Runner in terms of like the setting it's in, sort of dystopian world. Yeah. No, it's fine. It's I actually enjoyed this film, and I could actually see myself watching this again in a couple of years or buying it on Blu-ray or whatever. I actually think it's because it is this sort of original sci-fi film that you rarely get these days. You rarely get like a film like this it's like that's completely original. It's not based on anything, and you got to support those films, I think. And I certainly I'm a huge fan of Hugh Jackman and obviously of Rebecca Ferguson, so I had to seek this out, and I was happy I did. It was fine. It was really it was fine. It was good. It was good.
Yeah, I'm interested in how you're going to rank this movie in terms of other movies that you watched this week, to which we're going to get to later.
Yeah, I mean, it's not my pick.
Yeah, sure, but it could be your second place because there's something else, and I'm still not sure what is going to be your pick.
Yeah, no, it's We'll get to it. We'll get to it now. What do you? So you have 4 things. So you must have one thing you know that it's not going to be my pick.
I've got 2 things right here that I know you have not seen, or maybe one of them. I don't know.
Let's talk about some animated princesses. Let's go.
No, kind of a callback to our last episode. I saw the Vanity Fair episode of The Green Knight director breaks down the Green Knight's introduction scene by Vanity Fair. Did I already say Vanity Fair? I'm sorry. No, with David Lowery, of course, the director. And I thought this was great since I talked about this movie and how he thought it looked great, it had this great feeling, and he seems to be a very unique director. We talked about this a lot, and here he breaks down the scene where the Green Knight first appears. And there's so many little things that he kind of calls out and shows you the details that he's put into it, like the costume of King Arthur, and like little details on his armor, like little murals or whatever on there of his achievements and like of his adventures in the original story. And like the Green Knight is made with like practical effects or like a real costume, which is such a cool idea and stuff like that, which I just found fascinating. And also about some scenes like the scene where the mother like makes a spell or whatever was apparently like imagined later than like when they were already shooting, I think he said. Right. And they kind of incorporated that more, and then he had to kind of edit those scenes together as where the King Arthur is talking and then her scenes and like the struggle of finding the perfect pacing, which I think is very interesting.
Yeah.
And saying like it took him, like, I don't know, 6 months to edit that scene. Like while he edited the rest of the scenes, he always came back to that particular scene because it was so difficult to find the perfect pacing and rhythm. And I thought that's just so cool. And he just seems such a humble guy. And I think that's a fascinating episode to get a behind the scenes look.
Yeah. I haven't seen it, but I have a feeling that has that movie grown on you even more?
I don't know if I'd say even more, but I still love it.
Yeah. I'd be surprised if you hated it by now.
It's already grown on me quite a bit.
Yeah.
How about you? Do you have like a different perspective on it now, like 2 or 3 weeks later?
Haven't thought about it since.
Okay, well.
No, but once again, nothing bad to say about the film. It just...
Yeah, sure.
not really, really my cup of tea. But I have nothing but respect for. I love David Lowery. I mentioned this last time, and I think The Green Knight is actually a good film. It's just not really one that stays with me.
Sure, I bet it's quite divisive as to not naturally, not of course, like if you hate it or liked it, but just if it's a movie for you. I think it's made for certain people. That kind of sounds weird, but you know what I mean.
I don't think that sounds weird. I think that's quite accurate. Yeah.
So that's like one shout out. Quick summary. I don't know if I can talk about it much more, except if I like narrate the whole thing for you.
Yes.
But another honorable mention I got this week is Petrichor, the short film a friend of ours made, where you even came to the premiere, I think, quite late. So I don't think you have actually seen it by now.
No.
But it's now up on YouTube for anybody who wants to check it out. And it's actually quite good. And it's got some very good sound design. It's about a young man who has an anxiety disorder and tries to kind of have a different take on the whole thing. It's a very cool short film. Check it out on YouTube if you want. Once again, not a lot that I can talk about without spoiling the whole movie.
Who made the film?
A friend of ours, Celine.
An upcoming director.
An up-and-coming director, although she didn't direct it, she did the camera work, which is quite good in this. And I forgot her name.
Okay.
That's quite embarrassing right now.
It's not embarrassing. I'm not asking you to put you on the spot. Out of genuine interest, I thought she directed it. I thought
No, a friend of hers. Right. I think 3 people did it. I'm even in the credits, just so you know.
Here's the main reason why he's shouting this film out. He wants...
I'm in the special thanks section.
Oh, you're not on screen?
No.
Oh. Well, that's a different film, though, right? That's a thing where you're involved.
Screen?
Yeah.
I'm in a music video. It's coming out in like 1 or 2 weeks.
He's breaking...
Don't worry, I'll call that one out as well.
He's breaking through, that guy. We're losing him to fame. Pull him back in, please.
But it's good, like I said, great sound design, and there's some very well shot scenes. And I think it's got some great elements in it, and especially for like a feature film, for a short film debut, I think it's been great. I sad you missed it.
Yeah, we got to put the link in the description.
Yeah, definitely.
We will do that. Yes.
And with that, I think we can come to like the top 2 picks of this week. And I have
I got you. Easy for me.
All right.
I'll start us off, right?
There you go.
So my pick of the week, and I'm surprised you didn't enjoy this, is Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
I thought it was quite epic. Yeah.
Thank you. Right?
Dramatic reading.
The film as well.
Yeah, sure.
So we saw this one after we came back from our vacation, and now we haven't really talked about why you didn't like this. I mean, we had a discussion with the group of friends that we saw it with afterwards, but let's save it for later because we do have trailers and everything. So, Shang-Chi, the latest MCU film, and about, I mean, Jesus Christ, me and plots. So Shang-Chi, a guy who has a father who has the 10 rings that give him power. He's like, the father trained him to be like an assassin, and then he escaped, or not escaped, but he sort of left his home in China. And, the father has the power of the 10 rings. And then when the son, how old is he supposed to be when we meet him? Like 30 maybe?
Mid to late 20s? He's got to be like, I think he's 24, 25.
Yeah. So he has to go back years later. And because obviously, he's got to, what was it? He's got to protect his sister. That's the main reason, right? Because people are hunting him down. They want to get his pendant that is around his neck. And he assumes that his father is behind it all. And, probably the worst description of a plot I've done in 82 episodes. But I don't know what's important to describe within the plot here.
Well,
you got something?
Like the latest Marvel movie. So with a lot of Marvel movies, like the plot isn't that, intriguing, to be honest. It's not like this big and intricate storyline of drama and whatever. It's entertainment. It's entertainment cinema. You know what you get. It's some cool effects. You get some very good choreography of martial arts scenes. I'll give it that. And that's like, I think, the main entertainment value here. I think if you go too deep into the plot, it's going to sound quite ridiculous, as with a lot of Marvel movies, since, they're based on comics. They can be quite over the top. That's part of the medium.
Well, Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
sure.
Did you think so?
I actually really enjoyed this film. So I think plot isn't the most important thing to pitch it to you now, because everyone has probably heard of this. It is the latest MCU film. It is called Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Let's play a little clip of it, and then let's dive into it. Why you have no taste.
Bastard.
Throughout my life, the Ten Rings gave our family power. If you want them to be yours one day, you have to show me you are strong enough to carry them.
You are a product of all who came before you. The legacy of your family. You are your mother. And whether you like it or not, you are also your father.
I told my men they wouldn't be able to kill you if they tried. Glad I was right.
All right. So hopefully no music once again. We actually, the Promising Young Woman trailer worked. You know, I was happy to see that. Yeah. You haven't even checked it out?
I haven't.
Beautiful. No,
Life was on holiday when it came out.
No, you weren't.
Yeah.
No, you weren't. No, you weren't. Oh, you were. Shit, you're right. I'm sorry. I thought we were, but that was the other vacation. Yeah. No, but people were listening to it. People were listening to it in Croatia. People have told me. So,
really?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't. I knew what was going to happen, you know?
Yeah. No, but anyway, sorry. Hopefully the trailer for Shang-Chi was good. And let's dive into this. Because for me, I don't know, how my expectations for this film were actually, honestly, I heard quite good things about it beforehand. But not like any like over-the-top things where it's like the best MCU film. So I was in like this weird little space where I was actually like, I had high expectations for this. But I thought I had expectations that were going to be met. I don't know if you had this feeling before. I was in the right frame of mind. I had heard good things about it, and I saw the trailer, and I thought this looked good. And I was expecting to really like this film. And that's exactly what happened. I'm not going to say it's the best MCU film, but I'm definitely going to say it's top 3 action films in the MCU.
Oh, wow.
Action scenes. For sure.
Okay.
100%.
Okay, action scenes, maybe.
I would
even that's quite a tough statement.
No, I'm 100% certain with that. I actually
like the bus scene? Sorry. Which scene do you mean in particular?
Right from the get-go, when we first get to meet the father, played by what was it, Tony?
Tony Chiu Wei Lung.
Sorry,
that's a
terrible
pronunciation.
Name, yeah.
I'm so sorry. But yeah, Tony Chiu Wei Lung. I'm butchering this name, but
we apologize. Yeah. But when we first get to meet him and he uses the rings, he's on this horse, I think, in the beginning, and he just rides into this group of people, and then he just jumps off and does like his first thing. Dude, I was blown away. Yeah. I'm not even kidding. Yeah, that was unbelievable. The camera work. I wrote a letterbox review for this film, and I just said Destin Daniel Cretton. That's the whole thing I wrote. That's the director of the film, who did Short Term 12.
Yes.
Who did The Glass Castle. I thought you. No,
I didn't like the Glass Castle, but I loved Short Term 12, and I have not seen Just Mercy yet.
Yes. No, dude. When I heard that this guy was going to do a Marvel film, I had seen all of his other things, so I think all of them. I don't know how many. All of his big ones. I'm going to say sorry. So I was really excited, but this dude, he blew me away. I did not think he was going to be this good, especially at directing action. I think this is, and I thought about saying this, and I'm now going to say it just to rile you up.
Sure.
Certain action things, and you're going to go mad here, but I did get vibes of Mad Max Fury Road, and I'm not saying it's the same thing.
You shut your mouth.
It did remind me of it at certain points, because I thought the action was just so spectacular that I thought of the last like great action films that I saw, and obviously Mad Max is one of those. It just evoked sort of memories of that for me. Mad Max has greater action, yes, but I think this one is close to it.
I didn't really see the comparison. I thought more of like Nobody and like hand-to-hand action movies, or maybe even like John Wick kind of combats, like close quarters, very much martial arts, and with Mad Max, you got car chases and explosions and a lot of shooting. So
well, I would agree with you on the hand-to-hand thing, especially with the bus scene.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the nobody reference is there, and it's almost the same scene basically.
Yeah,
but the whole like group action things and the last big fight too. Obviously, it's not got cars and guns. You're right. I'm just, I really just said it because it reminded me of great action, not necessarily comparing the action scenes.
Okay, sure.
No, I was really blown away, especially by the camera work too. The way that the camera just floats through the action.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
But the thing I wanted to say before I even started talking about the plot was, I'm surprised you didn't like this because you are the martial arts fan. You are the guy who is in love with the Asian cinema and with more than me. I'm not saying I am not, but you're more familiar with it, and this should be right up your alley.
I am very much into Japanese movies, which feature very little martial arts. They do feature sword fighting and some like old samurai movies, but I haven't seen a lot of kung fu films, I gotta say. I do have to revisit some. I did love Drunken Master with Jackie Chan and stuff like that. And
Kung Fu Hustle? Have you seen that?
I have not seen Kung Fu Hustle
There's
yet.
actually a poster of it in the film.
Yeah?
In Shang-Chi.
That's cool.
Yeah.
No, I mean, there's some great ones out there. Ip Man is quite cool, but I haven't seen a lot. I mean, it's got elements of it, and I even written some trivia that it's got like an homage to old Jackie Chan movies where he always says, "I don't want any trouble," and then this fight scene starts.
Right.
And that part was quite cool, but there were just some parts of the story, especially towards the end, that just bugged me. To be honest, I thought I don't know what it was. I think it was just a culmination of some not great acting, in my opinion. I mean, it's Marvel; it's not necessarily known for great acting. It's more entertainment.
Who did you like? Because you love Awkwafina too.
I thought she was great. I liked her. I thought she was one of the better parts of the movie.
I think she was one of the worst parts of the film.
Really?
We have very different tastes.
I get what you mean, I guess.
Because she's
not a fan of it. That.
I like her, and every time I watch interviews of her, I like her, and she's funny. But in most films, I don't find the dialogue she has funny, and I don't know if that's her fault or if that's just the dialogue.
I get what I mean. Awkwafina in this movie was Awkwafina. She was quite similar to what she did in Raya and the Last Dragon. Kind of similar to Crazy Rich Asians, not necessarily in the role, but just being the comic relief the whole time through.
Yes.
Which is too bad because, I found it quite alright in this movie. I didn't love it. I thought it was quite funny at times, but I do prefer her in her serious roles. I mean, I just saw one of those, and that was The Farewell, and she was amazing in that. And I think she should do way more of that because I think she could be a great up-and-coming actress in great dramas. That's just my opinion, I guess.
Oh, I agree with that.
What I did love about this movie, I gotta say, is the effects and some of the animation and design choices right here. For example, when the map comes up through the water, I thought it was really well done.
Right.
I did like some of the later designs of some creatures coming up. I don't want to spoil it. I thought they looked amazing. Very cool. But towards the end, there's some plot points. It just too convenient. There's some very
I know the one you're talking about.
Predictable montage scenes that I hated. I talked about this before. I hate it when people do I'm so new at this, I can't do anything, and then somebody slightly adjusts their arm or tells them an inspirational line. Suddenly they're a fucking master at this, and they kind of even mention that when Aquafina said one day passed and everything changed. I hate this. I can't see past it. I know you need some kind of suspension of disbelief, but it just bugs me so fucking much. But yeah, like you said, the fight scenes were cool.
Yeah.
But all in all, the movie was entertaining, but not entertaining enough just for those scenes, you know?
Yeah, no, and I could critique it too. I mean, I think it's similar to me watching Free Guy, where it's the little things that bug me, and that sort of happened here for you, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Because certainly things bugged me too, but overall I actually quite enjoyed the film. I mean, the humor, the comic relief didn't really work for me. I thought the film was rather predictable as well, where the story went.
Yeah.
Also certain cameos, which were...
That was funny.
It was fun, but it was predictable.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that might be, that might be terrible criticism, because if certain cameos didn't happen, you would critique that too, and now I'm critiquing it because they happened even though they were obvious. So forget what I said there, but certain things from the story were quite predictable too. But actually, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the music. The end credit song has been on repeat from me.
Really?
Dude, I was vibing. I was vibing in the cinemas
wow.
when that credit song hit. I was just like, man,
Sure.
doing the stank face, feeling every note. But I mean, the main guy, Simulio, I thought he was good.
I wasn't a fan of his acting, to be honest. Nothing against the guy. Just didn't feel it.
It's funny because
Sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
He actually tweeted like 7 years ago, like at Marvel, like when's the next, or when are you going to do the Shang-Chi film, or when's the next Asian superhero film or when's the first Asian superhero MCU film going to come out? And then a couple of years later, he goes like, all right, Marvel, when are we going to talk about Shang-Chi? And years later, he did it. Yeah.
Yeah, good for him. I think from his vibe, I think he fits perfectly into the MCU. But who really stood out for me, I think, is more even actually Tony Chiu Wei Lung. Sorry, butchered his name once again. Acting-wise, I thought he might have been the best. And
he's great.
I finally realized where I recognized him from. It's from 2046, a movie that I love, the sequel to In the Mood for Love, which I have yet to see.
Oh, wow, you watched the sequel without watching the original?
I didn't know it was a sequel.
Okay. It's so sad.
Yeah. I think they're quite independent movies and storylines, but now that I saw the second one, the first one is supposed to be even better. Really got to watch that, but
yeah,
I couldn't find like the Blu-ray anywhere. And the only language I found in was German, or sometimes I think even English, but I wanted to watch it in Chinese, which is quite hard.
Right. Because you don't speak it.
Not perfectly, no.
Yeah, and you got Michelle Yeoh in it. You got Florian Munteanu from Creed 2 as Drago's son. I recognized him instantly, and I was so proud when it was actually the case, because I haven't seen him in like years, but there he was again. Yeah, I think we talked about the main... actually, don't go on the IMDb profile if you haven't seen it, because certain cameos are ruined there from what I'm looking at right now. So don't watch that. But yeah, I enjoyed the film. Actually, my expectations were actually met for once. I think this is one of the better Marvel films of recent years. I think, let me think about this before I make a controversial statement, but I think it's the best one since Endgame.
You liked it more than Homecoming?
No,
Far From Home.
Far From Home. I did like it more than Far From Home, yes.
Oh, wow.
Okay, but what else do we have? We only had like Black Widow, right? That's it?
Yeah, that's it. And then we got Eternals and the new Spider-Man once again.
Yeah. All right, then it's not like that big a statement if we only had like 3 Marvel films. But I'm including the shows too. I think it's the best Marvel thing since Endgame.
Yeah, wow. That's a big statement.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're so welcome. No, I gotta say I'm just more interested in the older heroes appearing again. I'm excited for a new Spider-Man, for a new Thor. I wasn't that looking forward to Shang-Chi or Eternals now. I'm like, all right, sure. But they're like just some characters that I am looking forward to finally get back into the MCU.
Yeah. No, fair enough. Let's talk about your pick of the week, which could have certainly been my pick. It was tight, but I went with Shang-Chi. So what's
the
your
movie
pick?
or like the decision? It was quite tight.
The movie wasn't quite tight. It was a very long film as well as Shang-Chi was.
That's correct, yeah. I actually didn't check this out. Do we have the trailer rights? I completely forgot about this, honestly.
I have no idea.
All right.
I'll look
there
it
might
up
be
while
some awkward silence.
I'll look it up while you talk.
Well, my pick of the week is Stillwater, which we watched in a sneak a couple of days ago. And it's a new movie by Tom McCarthy, director of Spotlight, among others. And it stars Matt Damon in his big role. And we talked about this, I think, shortly when we talked about the Hot Ones interview with Matt Damon, where he talked about like immersing himself in roughneck culture and stuff like that for his role here. And the movie's about Matt Damon's character going to France to visit his daughter who's in prison there because she's accused of murdering a friend of hers. And she keeps persisting that she's innocent. And her father, of course, believes her and tries to get her out. And you don't know if she's innocent or not. It's just the father who is so convinced that his daughter is innocent and needs to help her when nobody else does. And some new evidence finally comes up. But the lawyers are too busy and don't think it's enough and it's not worth the time. So he has to take matters into his own hands and immerse himself in Marseille and find out the truth by whatever means necessary.
Dude, you're so much better at these plot descriptions. It's unbelievable.
I think it's easier with Stillwater than Shang-Chi. To be honest, I wouldn't know what to talk about with
But still,
Shang-Chi.
if I would have described Stillwater, I don't think they would have been as good.
Oh,
By the way, I because you said we talked about this on the Hot Ones episode where we talked about this, I think I might have actually talked about this film on the Matt Damon special. Because this is a film that I've been looking forward to, dude, for years.
The best special that we ever did.
The worst one. Don't listen to it.
61 views. The most watched episode on YouTube.
Yeah, that's just you.
Keep clicking on it.
Hoping it's better this time.
I don't know if we have a trailer.
We have a trailer. I'm looking at it right now.
Perfect. Oh, nice. Well, then here's the trailer for Stillwater.
The day you left for Marseille, I drove you to the airport. I went to the gift shop and I saw this necklace. It was gold, said Stillwater on it. I thought it'd be a little piece of home to take with you.
Some folks are born made to wear the flag.
You're in Marseille for vacation?
Yeah, I visited my daughter.
You're the father of the girl, the American student?
Yes, ma'am. Allison came here for college, and that's where she met this girl, Lena. One night she found Lena dead and called the police. All they cared about was Allison sleeping with some Arab girl.
I loved her.
I know you did.
But everybody thinks that I killed her.
We have exhausted every possible legal action.
Is the lawyer not helping you?
I'm doing it myself for now.
I could help.
What's your name?
Maya.
Maya. Oh, that's nice.
She's very protective with me.
You seen that guy before?
No one would talk to you, trust me. I'm not from here. It's not safe for you.
She's my little girl.
Dad, please.
I'm not gonna give up.
Yeah, that was Stillwater. I hope there's not too much music in there, so we don't get a copyright strike. But, well, from the description you might get, it's a thriller. It's kind of a mystery, and it is quite gripping, the story. It's quite thrilling, one might say.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it's got a very dark tone to it, and some very sweet scenes as well, since he meets new people and kind of gets a second chance at being a good person, which he apparently wasn't in his younger years.
Right.
And, of course, he's quite the opposite to one might expect for a person who comes to France, I guess the stereotypes more of where they talk about the French people being more open about sex and, art and stuff like that. And he's placed this roughneck, this guy who works on oil rigs all across the world and does construction work. And he's portrayed as a more conservative and
yes,
maybe more unlikely hero for a story.
Yes.
Which is a cool thing to do, actually, to kind of portray other characters. And they also talked about this in the Hot Ones interview, where he talked about then at first not being very inviting to him because, Hollywood might portray them wrong. They don't want this to be like some sappy story. They want to be involved. But then they kind of got to know them and got a chance to meet some of those people who actually work on those construction sites, who do these kinds of jobs. And I gotta say, Matt Damon portrayed it very well. I think, first of all, his look matched it perfectly, and also his accent was quite well done, in my opinion.
Yeah. I love him. I love him.
He's great.
He's so good, man. He is so good. But I was surprised by not the controversy, because I knew going in that he was sort of, before the movie started, I thought he was like portrayed as a Trump supporter. Like that's the main thing that I read in a lot of articles. But that's not even brought up. Someone asks him if he voted for Trump, and he just goes like, "I didn't vote." Mm-hmm. So I don't really understand, because how do I say this now? It's not like he's portrayed as a super right wing guy, right? He is from Oklahoma. He owns guns, and he maybe has some conservative views, but he's not like a right wing extremist or like someone that's It wasn't brought up as much as I thought it would, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm actually saying that's a rather good thing, that it wasn't, because of all the controversy or of all the articles I read. I thought it was more prominent in the story, his sort of political views, but actually it's just like a part of him that's not really talked about that much. You just maybe imply certain things, and maybe the audience thinks fills in the gaps for themselves.
Sure. I mean, it is even brought up that his daughter is gay or, I don't know, bi or whatever, not straight anyway, and he doesn't seem bothered by that. Or maybe it's just because he loves his daughter and he kind of came to terms with it. We don't know, how he took to the news when he first heard it. But yeah, he doesn't seem like an extremist, but he seems more like another portrayal of a American quote unquote protagonist, hero, whatever. Else is like saying, he does have guns and everything, and which is quite opposite to the beliefs of the woman he meets then in Marseille, and he's quite shocked by that at first.
Right. I mean, his daughter played by Abigail Breslin, who I'm not a fan of, but
She's
she was
alright.
really good in this film, I thought.
Yeah.
I was very surprised. I'm not a huge fan of hers. I haven't seen too many things, but for example, Little Miss Sunshine,
Sure.
I never understood the love for this film.
She's quite young there, like 10 years ago.
I know. But what else has she been in recently? August Osage County, of course.
Exactly, yeah.
Yep.
I don't think I've seen anything else.
Zombieland.
Right, she plays the sister of Emma Stone.
Double Tap, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, doesn't have a huge role there, but sure.
She was just in the second one, right? Was she in the
first one as well? I think she was.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Also the little sister in the first one.
You're right.
Yeah, I think she's fine. She had some great scenes here, definitely.
Yes.
Like in the prison when he keeps visiting her and she's so fucking desperate for new information or just a hope or a chance that she might get out.
Yeah. No, there were a couple of great scenes. One of my favorite scenes was when they're at the dinner table, and she goes like she loves pizza or whatever, and and sort of people are bonding with her over like French food, which pizza isn't really a French food, but whatever. But Matt Damon just goes like, I like it too. Dude, I'm getting choked up thinking about this. That moment that's my favorite. For people who haven't seen this film, that won't make any sense whatsoever. He just says, I like it too. But the way he says it and sort of trying to bond with his daughter.
Yeah, that's a sweet scene. You're right.
It was such a beautiful moment. And just another, Matt Damon, I could keep going on. I love him. But let's talk about, Camille Cottin.
Cotin?
Camille
Sure.
Cottin?
You took French. You tell me.
Camille Cottin.
Beautiful.
And her daughter.
Yeah.
Lilou.
So adorable.
What are these names? Lilou Savard?
Sure. Yeah.
Her first acting role. And obviously she's very, very young, but both of them, mother and daughter, were just amazing too.
I loved the daughter.
Really,
she was
daughter
so cute.
was so good, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I gotta say, in terms of criticism towards this movie, you said this movie is quite long. It is. But for that, I think the time flew by, but the ending was too sudden, I think. They had this very long setup of the story, and then it ended in what felt like 5 minutes.
I actually really liked that ending. I thought it was a bold ending, yes. But I was about to get to my criticism of it, because obviously it sounds like this should have been my pick. I was hoping when I first heard of this film that this was, because I heard it was about a father trying to sort of save his daughter and trying to get her out of prison. Sure. I was expecting a courtroom drama. And it wasn't till the first trailer came out that I don't even think I watched fully. I just watched like a couple of seconds of it because I wanted to go in sort of fresh. I realized it wasn't really about that. And from the moment I realized that, I was like, God damn it. I was hoping for like another one of these like crime, justice, courtroom dramas, because those really aren't made anymore. I think the last one was Just Mercy, with which we just talked about. But still, even Stillwater, the way it is now, is a film that isn't made these days. Usually, it is like this character-driven film where it feels like a film from the 90s or from the early 2000s that you don't really get these days now, because nowadays it's more like about the spectacle and about sort of groups and ensemble pieces. And you could argue this is an ensemble piece too, but it's very much Matt Damon carrying the film. And we talked about him and his personality, and you could sort of maybe you don't like him, but you do grow to like him, and it's this character-driven story that is that I miss. I always hope to get more of them. It's kind of like Three Billboards, right? You just follow Frances McDormand's character there. And fall in love with a flawed character, I guess.
Yeah, sure. Well said. I mean, also one thing, I also didn't really know what this movie was about. I knew it was about a father who was trying to help his daughter, and I knew it was about him being like this roughneck. So I expected it would also take place in this kind of area, maybe in Oklahoma or whatever. But it is set in France, which was a surprise. And also I didn't know quite which route they were going to go. There's this one scene where he gets kind of crowded up by people and kind of escalates. And for a second, I wasn't sure if this was going to turn to like a Liam Neeson kind of scene where he just fucking fucks everybody up and goes on a revenge trip or whatever. And it didn't go that route. And I was so glad about that because I think this would have ruined the movie.
Yes.
But it's just him. He seems like this very tough guy, you know, but he is in a foreign country. He doesn't speak the language. He is at a disadvantage and he's struggling so hard. And that's such an interesting thing to see. Like you said, it's sometimes just a spectacle, just people breezing through the movie, but it's about him just struggling for 2 hours and trying to reconnect with people and trying to make up for whatever he fucked up in his earlier years.
Yeah, no, for sure. I did also think that the film was quite predictable, not like just from the main story. The main story was quite predictable. You did have some side stories that were quite cool, the one you mentioned just now, but or not side stories, side moments that what you just said basically, but the main story was quite predictable, and then I was actually quite surprised by the ending. I thought, as I said before, that was quite bold, and I was just like, man, you got like a 2 hour 20 film and you ended like that. That's kind of a gutsy move that I kind of appreciated.
Fair enough. Yeah, I get what you mean with like the very last scene.
Yeah,
but I do completely agree that it was quite predictable, like the big plot points towards the end, sadly. And I do like the last scene also. I think just the way they got there just went by too fast.
Fair, but I mean, maybe they had to cut something because of its duration already, you know. It is 2 hours 20, so...
Sure, but they got these very slow scenes at the beginning of him, like, getting to know the city, like, meeting people who might be able to help him, you know, observing people, stuff like that. And I do appreciate them. I do appreciate when a movie doesn't rush itself, you know.
Yeah.
But... I don't know, I think like 10 minutes more maybe. I say this quite a lot, quite often, that I would like 10 minutes more at the end. Then again, I'm not a director, editor, whatever. Who knows, maybe 10 minutes more would ruin the pacing. It just felt like that to me.
No, I was surprised by how quick it went by, even though it was so long. As you said before, I completely agree with that. But I think that was also because I was still so excited to see the film. And I was in it. And I was totally immersed in the world, because I also didn't know that it was. From when I saw that it wasn't about a courtroom drama, I kind of only knew that it was about him sort of trying to get his daughter out, but not really how he went about doing that. So it was kind of like, you know, it was a nice experience not knowing sort of. Am I contradicting myself, because I said it was predictable, but the predictable part is really just the main story, but not the way, not the main pillars of the story are predictable, but the story in between isn't. I think that sums it up quite well.
Yeah, I think it's a good description, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, so did you really love this film?
I liked it. Okay. I did love it. I don't know. Ratings are like, can't tell you everything that you like about the movie, dislike.
Sure.
I give it a 7 because I did like it, but like the ending was a bit too predictable at times. But I had a good time. I think 7 is a solid movie.
Yeah. I actually gave it a 7 too.
Yeah, perfect.
And I'm looking at the IMDb page right now. Sorry?
What
Shang-Chi?
Shang-Chi?
Well, that's going to be an 8.
Wow.
Yeah.
Christ.
But if we're really diving into ratings, it is very similar. I'm actually like rating like in between two. So Stillwater is like a 7.5 maybe. And Shang-Chi would be like right above that, like a 7.6, 7.7, something like that. You know?
Okay.
So it was a tough choice this week, but
where would you put Reminiscence?
I rated that. I gave it a 7.
Okay, 7.1.
No, but this is more like a 6 point something. That still evens out to a 7.
Sure.
What boring stuff this is. But I'm just looking at the Stillwater IMDb page, and there's a scene where Matt Damon's character hugs the little girl. Do you remember the scene towards the end?
It's so sad.
Just unreal too.
Yeah.
One of the best scenes of the film. Yeah, so
I
well
the
done.
girl was just so fucking good at acting. Good. I mean, doesn't mean that she might be amazing in the future. But if she keeps acting like that, dude, she's forced to be reckoned with.
Yeah, and I really liked the mother too.
Yeah, she was good.
But everyone was good in this. Yes. So that's it. That's it from me.
Yeah, I think that's it from me as well.
Yeah.
I think still a good episode.
A good episode. We're actually good. Only like 48 minutes.
Oh, that's pretty good. I mean,
Right.
plus trailers, we might be at like 50.
Yeah. Okay.
Around that.
I'm hearing he doesn't want to challenge himself to. He wants to bask in his Tom Hanks glory for another week, which I'm fine to do. Which I'm fine to wait.
Maybe next week. I don't know how much we'll see by next week, but there's going to be at least one big fucking thing, and so excited. So fucking excited. I think most people know what we're talking about, or what I'm talking about. If you're up to date with what's coming out next week.
I think we can say it.
Don't. Now we epic music rising from the background.
Yeah, we can't afford that.
But sorry, also Stillwater, of course, is now also in cinemas because we saw it in a sneak, but I think by the time this comes out, it's already in cinemas. I think even when we're recording, I think it came out on Thursday.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. All of the films that we talked about today are out because you mentioned 2 YouTube
one
things.
short film?
Well, one was on YouTube, and the other
Exactly.
one was a Vanity Fair thing. Right.
I think also on Vimeo, if that's the name.
Vimeo.
Exactly.
We'll put all the links in the description.
Sure.
Right. I'm signing off. Next week is going to be good. Hopefully. Hopefully.
Sure.
Hopefully. Hopefully. So thanks for
Fingers
tuning
crossed.
in. We hope you enjoyed this episode. A lot of good things to seek out this week. And let us know what you think of the things you end up seeing. Stay safe. And thanks for still sticking around.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sticking around. You're right. It's been a long fucking journey. And episode what? 82?
82.
Jesus Christ. Thank you for listening. It's been a blast. You can check us out on pretty much any podcast platforms, be it Google or Apple Podcast, YouTube, Spotify, etc. Check us out at Best Thing Radio on Twitter and Instagram, where we post some stuff. Flo also will post the thumbnail that he will once again make for this episode. Thank you so much. It's also our thumbnail on YouTube. Consider giving a like, subscribe. Maybe a review on Apple Podcasts that's still a thing.
It is still a thing. Yeah, that would be
Sure.
lovely.
That would be lovely. And I don't know, what did you see in the time where we were gone? Anything cool?
I saw
love to hear from you.
Reminiscence. Sorry, that wasn't to me.
No, it wasn't. I thought we just talked about this. It's been fun. We'll see you. Well, you'll hear us next week with a very cool episode, I hope. And either that or it's going to be very depressing if it's bad.
Either way, you have to check it out.
So with that, have a great week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.